Game design has always been a passion of mine. Level design in particular is such a fascinating and abstract concept, and the ways in which it meshes with more straightforward elements like controls, visuals, music, and story is a very compelling subject. Yet to create a game is not an easy task. Even the simplest and most straightforward engines out there require some skill to produce anything worthwhile, and generally one needs some sort of coding and graphic design experience to really produce something great. The path to simply crafting game levels is not an easy one. Enter Super Mario Maker. It offers the flawless controls, great visual styles, and detail of various Mario games, all with an easy-to-understand interface. And alongside this, you can share your levels with the world and get to experience the countless levels others have made with their own genius. Not everything is perfect, but it is a terrific tool and a great game, so let's take a look at why. When you first boot up Super Mario Maker, you are introduced to how the basics work. Along the top of the screen are several objects. On the top left is the option to switch between art and control styles, and just below that you can switch between environments. The lower right side has undo and reset buttons, while the upper right side has the save option. The main portion of the screen is your virtual playground, the level itself. With the Wii U gamepad's touchscreen, you can drag objects from the top of the screen and place them in the level. You can switch between edit and play by hitting the corresponding icon on the bottom left corner, and start the level from the beginning by hitting the minus button. It is an incredibly intuitive design. Simply drag what you want to where you want. Maneuvering between options is simple. It's easy to see which object is which and how it will react in-game, and bringing down a drop-down menu to switch out which options you can access on the editor is quick and clean. It is equally easy to playtest and make sure the level works as intended, as you can jump between play and edit immediately. Even more complex options like subrooms and doors are extremely easy to stay on top of thanks to streamlined design. Simplicity does not limit the number of options, however, and there really are tons. Enemies and objects from all throughout Mario history make an appearance. At the start, you will have just the basics: Koopas, Goombas, breakable blocks, unbreakable blocks, coin blocks, mushrooms, springs, and pipes. The list goes on. Many of these can be changed into different objects simply by shaking them, so a green Koopa will turn to a red Koopa, for example. You can stack enemies on top of each other to make mountains of enemies, and you can also add wings to some enemies to let them fly, float, or bounce. Or you could make them extra big by giving them a mushroom. You can put enemies or power-ups in pipes so that they respawn whenever they get killed or disappear, and put them in breakable blocks or coin boxes to give players a surprise, or even combine objects and enemies together for all new challenges. Enemies act differently according to what era they are from, and some enemies and objects that never even appeared in certain games show up anyways, like Magic Koopas in the original Super Mario Bros. This means there are some combinations of objects and enemies that have never appeared in Mario before, and learning how those elements work together for the first time is truly thrilling. There are also some objects that only work in certain eras, and each version has an exclusive power-up. New has the propeller, 3 has the Tanuki suit, World has the cape, and Original has secret mushrooms. Let's talk about secret mushrooms for a bit. These can give Mario a new costume, which disappear if he gets hit. You can unlock some in the game, like a Goomba and Toad, but you can also unlock costumes with Amiibo. Thus, you can have tons of characters from across Nintendo's stable of franchises play through Mario's world, from Link to Inklings. In the level, you can have it turn Mario into a random character, or you can choose specifically which costume it will be. Again, these are only usable in Classic, but it is an awesome addition to have and the perfect use for Amiibo. You can also add your own sound effects. After hitting the sound effects button, several sounds will appear in the top bar, like clapping, babies crying, or cheering. Dragging these sounds onto objects or into the level will make them play when you interact with those objects. Some sounds have corresponding visual effects, like fireworks or cat paw. But you can even make your own sound effects by speaking into the gamepad's microphone. Pretty quickly, I had Yoshi moaning in anguish as he left his shell, Koopas screaming as they died, and blocks making fart noises as they got hit. Yes, I'm one of those people. In truth, I was not having a great time at the start. There just was not enough to make the levels I wanted to make. As I unlocked various options though, the experience really started to come together, and by the time I hit day 4, everything clicked. I started having the time of my life. Super Mario Maker is so much fun. I'm always thinking of new level ideas to experiment with, or new ways to adjust, improve, and add on to existing levels. Because of how easy it is to put stuff together, it becomes entirely about designing cool levels, and designing cool levels is truly a blast. Experimenting with ideas and then tweaking them to be hard but fair, while still fitting them into your level, it's just fun. It's not like everything is perfect. There could be more enemies, objects, environments, and overall options, and being able to better control when and where some enemies and objects move would be nice. But any complaints honestly pale in comparison to everything on display. But once your perfect Mario level is complete, you need someone to share it with, which raises the question, how does the online half of Super Mario Maker hold up? Well, really well. Players can share levels with the push of a button, although you need to beat the level before uploading it to make sure it's even possible to beat the level before others are tasked with trying it out. Once it is up, players can look through a list of courses to find one that looks interesting. There are lots of options for finding levels with different filters available for narrowing your search. You can look for courses directly or find them based on who created the courses. Or you can try out the 100 Mario Challenge. In this, you are given 100 lives to play through 8 or 16 levels made by other players. In truth, I did not enjoy this mode much, if at all. The game tended to pick boring or frustrating levels, and you can't stop playing a level without restarting the challenge. All in all, though, the online sharing is excellent. Everything is done with very little wait time. Loading screens are extremely fast. Unfortunately, from what I've experienced, not many levels are that great. It's a lottery as to whether you will get a good level or not, and an even bigger lottery as to whether you will get a well-designed level or just a cool idea. There's a reason some people are level designers for a living. Not everyone can do it. Still, as time goes on, the average quality may improve, and it's quick enough to get around that you can get out of a bad level and try a new one without much trouble. My one issue with the online systems is more a nitpick than anything else. There is no world sharing. That is, there's no way to share groups of levels at a time. It would have been grand to play through several levels made purposefully to go together, thematically and from a gameplay and pacing perspective, and it would be interesting to see what makers could do with that added option, especially if we could make world maps as well. Instead, we can only play through disparate, unconnected levels. The 100 Mario Challenge was supposed to fill this void, but it just doesn't quite succeed. This really is a small issue, but it could have drastically improved the experience of playing others' levels. There are also several pre-made courses which you can unlock by playing through the 10 Mario Challenge. In this, you must complete 8 courses made by Nintendo with just 10 lives. By beating these courses, they will be added to a list of sample courses on CourseBot, which you can then edit and change at will. There are about 60 total pre-made courses to play through. The music is particularly excellent. It is mainly classic Mario music. When actually playing levels, it is unchanged from the originals, like the visuals, but it is very dynamic. Tracks shift seamlessly into an adjusted, lighter version when you hit edit, and back again when you hit play. And again, as you place objects in the level, the noises will line up with the music, which is a small touch that I absolutely adore. Super Mario Maker is something we've dreamed up our entire lives. Who hasn't played through a Mario game and thought of ways to change it, to make it something all their own within this world? Super Mario Maker embraces this dream and gives it to us neatly in a gift-wrapped package. The amount of options and polish on display, mixed with the simplicity of the design, offers something wholly satisfying. Outside of 1 or 2 omissions, there are practically no complaints to find. Super Mario Maker is a sleek, excellent way to design levels and share them with the world. What more could you ask for?